What's going YouTube? We are here for the Week 6 XFL preview and betting odds. We've made it, as long as we play one game this weekend, we've made it further than we did in the 2020 XFL season, which is very exciting. Be interesting to see, how some of these teams, if any of their fortunes change between the first and second half, something we didn't really get to see last year or last go around. Very excited. Pretty good slate of games this week. As always, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to sponsor me, that email is down below. Let me know in the comments what you think about this week or upcoming games or anything like that. If any video topics you want me to cover, be sure to share the channel with your friends, and we'll get into this schedule. We'll just get right into it. Not messing around. We will just get right into it. All right. First game of the weekend, an ABC game. So forget March Madness. I don't know what time the games are on. Who cares? I love basketball, but I mean, it's the XFL. So professional versus not professional. So you tell me. And Seattle at Orlando. Seattle, of course, coming off the biggest ups of the year, beating the Houston Roughnecks 21-14. The Guardians coming off a loss to the Vegas Vipers, who got their first win. Quentin Dormady, the depth chart says Dormady or Paxton Lynch. I bet Dormady gets at least a lot of snaps, if not Paxton Lynch. I think they'll Paxton Lynch will be in a very short leash, if not. Excuse me. I think the key to this one, Seattle has to find a way to limit turnovers. May not matter this game, but they have to find a way to limit turnovers. They haven't been able to do it all year. They got away with it last week, but if they want to compete with the St. Louis's and the DCs in their own division, never mind the Houstons and the Arlingtons and everyone else in this league, they're going to have to hold on to the ball. It's always my key. I think the Guardians could play well this week. I think it's a good chance for them to win, or they have a chance. I think, you get a couple turnovers, you capitalize, they hold on to the ball. I think it'll be interesting. I think getting the ground game going would be nice for them to give whoever they have playing the quarterback position to give some ground, give us a breathing room. St. Louis at Vegas. St. Louis suffering their second loss of the season last week. They lost at home to the DC Defenders. Let me double check. Yep, at DC Defenders. That's right. Lost to DC Defenders. Close one. Couldn't stop the run. Abram Smith had like 250 yards or 40 yards, over 200 yards rushing. Incredible game. Vegas Vipers coming off their win against Orlando, 35-32 win over the Orlando Guardians. I think we'll talk about this one. This is an interesting game for me. I think Vegas, I looked at the depth chart. I think Luis Perez is back at QB1 on the depth chart, which is good for him. He's played pretty well. He played pretty well when he's gotten the chance. Hundley hasn't really done as much as I think people would have hoped. I think St. Louis, this is their game. I think people will down St. Louis. They started off 3-0, I believe. They started 2-0. They were like, they're the contenders. They had the comeback wins. They had all the comebacks. They have the most famous quarterback in the league. But I think this is a big bounce back game for them. It's kind of not must win. I don't want to say that, but it's a big win. They kind of need to win this one. I believe next week we'll peek ahead quick. Who do they have next week? Yeah, they play Houston next week, so that's a grind. So going into that game at 4-2 versus 3-3 is big. It was pretty much a must win for Houston, I would say. Or for St. Louis, excuse me. So yeah, I think this is a big win for St. Louis. Vegas would be nice. I think they played pretty well. They've had a couple of really close losses this year. Hope maybe at home they can get something going. They don't have the best home field advantage, but you never know. This is an interesting one. So last week it was Arlington at San Antonio. This week it's San Antonio at Arlington. This is a weird scheduling glitch. I don't like it, to be honest. I think it's interesting. They both played each other last week. Arlington won 12-10 on the road. I think, it's a pretty even matchup, and the smart money in even matchups, I tend to root for the home team, and I pick coaching, and Arlington has both those things, but Arlington won last week, so on the road, so who knows? And I think I don't know what being a team twice in a row, not in a regular season playoff scenario, is very difficult. So this will be not a great betting game in my opinion, but a Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock. This will be a really fun game to watch. Super interesting. Two teams that like to compete. Not the best offenses, but I think, like Arlington, I think just has to find a way to get their offense going. They haven't done it all year. They need to find a way. Slaughter's, I know he hasn't been as good as I thought. He's been really disappointing, but I think he needs to be better, and I think he can. San Antonio needs to find a way to get something going with their offense. Needs to find a way to attack in the air or on the ground. I think San Antonio getting the ground game will really open up their play action and give their quarterback, Jack Cohn, who I believe I saw was on the depth chart, QB1, would be huge. And then we got a Monday night game. This is a good game. Houston at DC. Houston, of course, coming off their only loss of the season last week to Seattle. DC coming in still undefeated at 5-0. Games at DC. DC with their three-headed rushing attack. Yeah. Abram Smith again, as I mentioned, against St. Louis is a big rushing game. They got Jordan Ta'amu, dual threat quarterback, Derek King, who's more little dual threat, more running. Houston, little struggle last week. Their offense couldn't get much going against Seattle. I think this could be another tough game for them. But they're both two very opportunistic defense. I think that could hurt Houston. They're big turnovers. They get pick sixes. They do a lot of that, and DC's whole game is to control the game with the ground, control the game with running. So I think that'll be interesting. I think that could stymie a little bit of what Houston's best trade on defense is, and also rushing the quarterback, which they don't do. DC doesn't throw enough, and they're happy to run the ball and can do it. But this will definitely be a fun Monday Night Football game. So yeah, a couple games. These are some DraftKings, not a sponsor, but which they would. So as we got Seattle at 9.5. That's a pretty big line. I don't like to bet against Seattle. I don't like to bet any team playing Orlando. I think is generally a safe bet. Hasn't always been true. I guess that's like 3-2 probably. I guess, but I don't know. I think Seattle coming off a good week of rest too. That'll be a big thing too. Seattle played last Thursday, so they'll have 9 days of rest, which will be good for them. Any of those little nagging injuries, I think that'll help. Even though they're flying cross country. This Vegas St. Louis line is crazy to me. I don't know if there's something I'm missing. Maybe I am. If I am, let me know. I feel like St. Louis being favored by 3 is crazy. I think they're a much better team than Vegas. I guess Vegas plays hard, but I don't know. I think that line's too low. I think that's a pretty good line. This Arlington San Antonio game. Pretty much a coin flip last week. Arlington getting the win. I guess the smart thing would do to be pick San Antonio this week, flip it around, just do the opposite. But I think Arlington being at home, I think they're a slightly better team, a slightly better coaching. That's just how I pick if it's toss up. Those are and quarterback play, higher upside, bigger downside. So it's a fun one. Don't want to pick it. DC at Houston, again, pretty much a pick 'em. I think DC, I would say, is the better team. And then with DC being at home and on Monday night, those fans are pretty good. So I think that home field advantage will actually help. So we'll go to the picks for the week. This spreadsheet is in the description. So I'm picking Seattle to win and cover. Again, I kind of explained, I think they're the better team. Hard to bet against Orlando. St. Louis at Vegas. I'm picking St. Louis to win and cover is my best bet. I think they're going to win by more than this. I think there could be a blowout or certainly double-digit win. I think that's my best bet. One of the bigger mismatches, with the exception of Seattle at Orlando, but that's a 9.5-point line. So that's always don't love basically having to pick a team to win by double digits. But picking them to win by over 3, easy money, I think, in my opinion. San Antonio and Arlington, like I said, it's a pick 'em. Going to pick with the home team again. I know they won last week, but I think they can clean it up. I still have faith that their offense can pick it up a little bit, but we'll see. DC again, it's probably about a 1.5 point line ish on a neutral field, maybe 2. Gives me another point for them being at home with that crowd on Monday night. So I think they'll cover. That's not a best bet. It'll be a fun game, but I think they'll cover. That's all I got for this week, guys. Thanks for watching.